amazing tunes. Have you ever felt like God wasn't listening to you? Like maybe he had forgotten about his people? Well, what if I told you that God once used the most unexpected voice to save an entire nation?
Move, you stubborn animal. We have important business in Moab.
Balaam, why are you beating me? Have I ever disobeyed you before?
Yes, you heard that right. A donkey talked. But how did we get here? And why would God choose to speak through a donkey to save his people? Let me show you something incredible about how God works in the most unexpected ways. By the end of this story, you'll discover that God sees everything, speaks through anyone, and his love for his people never fails. Are you ready? This is Balaam, and he lived about 3,400 years ago in a city called Pethor. Back then, there were no phones, no cars, and no internet. If you wanted to send a message to someone far away, you had to walk or ride for many days through dangerous deserts. Now, Balaam wasn't an Israelite. He didn't worship the one true God like Moses and the Israelites did. Instead, Balaam was what people called a diviner. Think of him like someone who claimed he could tell the future and put magical curses on people. Kings and rulers paid him lots of money to bless their armies or curse their enemies.
The signs are favorable today. My reputation grows stronger with every successful prophecy.
Balaam had grown quite wealthy from his work. He lived comfortably, had many servants, and people traveled from far away to seek his services. But here's what's interesting about Balaam. Somehow, he had learned about the God of Israel. He knew God's name and had even heard God's voice before.
The God of Israel. His power is unlike the other gods. When he speaks, things actually happen exactly as he says.
But on this particular morning, Balaam's quiet life was about to change forever. Messengers were riding hard toward his house, carrying an offer that would test his heart and reveal God's amazing protection over his people.
Balaam the diviner, we bring greetings from King Balak of Moab. He has urgent need of your services.
King Balak of Moab was terrified. The Israelites had just defeated two powerful kings, Sihon and Og, and now they were camped right on Moab's border. Balak had heard the stories about how God had brought Israel out of Egypt with mighty miracles.
King Balak sends you this message. A people has come out of Egypt, and they cover the land like locusts. They have defeated every army that stood against them. We cannot fight them with swords and spears. The king offers you great riches if you will come and curse these Israelites. Everyone knows that whoever you bless is blessed, and whoever you curse is cursed.
Now, imagine someone offered you more money than you'd ever seen just to say some words. That's exactly what was happening to Balaam, but there was something the messengers didn't know. These weren't just any people they wanted cursed. These were God's chosen people, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
This is more gold than I usually see in a year. King Balak must be very desperate indeed. I must think about this carefully. Stay here tonight as my guests. In the morning, I will give you my answer after I consult with the gods.
But Balaam knew which god he needed to consult. Deep down, he understood that the God of Israel was more powerful than all the other gods combined. The question was, would God let him get rich by cursing his own people?
God of Israel, you who are above all other gods, King Balak has asked me to curse your people for great reward. What should I do?
Balaam, who are these men staying in your house?
Now God wasn't asking because he didn't know. God sees everything and knows everything. He was giving Balaam a chance to be honest about what he was really considering.
Lord, King Balak of Moab has sent messengers. The Israelites have come out of Egypt, and he wants me to curse them so he can defeat them in battle.
You must not go with them. You must not curse these people because they are blessed.
The message was crystal clear. God's people were blessed, and Balaam was not to curse them under any circumstances. God had chosen Israel as his special people, and no amount of gold or silver could change that.
I'm sorry, but I cannot go with you to Moab. The Lord has refused to let me go with you.
But the gold, the silver, King Balak will be furious.
I cannot go against the command of the Lord my God, no matter how much you offer me.
You might think that would be the end of the story. Balaam obeyed God, the messengers went home, and everyone lived happily ever after. But unfortunately, Balaam's heart wasn't completely surrendered to God. He still wanted that treasure, and King Balak wasn't giving up either. King Balak was desperate. When his first messengers returned empty-handed, he decided to send even more important officials with an offer so large that surely no one could refuse it.
Balaam, King Balak says this, "Please let nothing hinder you from coming to me. I will reward you handsomely and I will do whatever you say. Just come and curse these people for me."
This wasn't just money anymore. This was enough wealth to make Balaam one of the richest men in the region. He could buy a palace, hire hundreds of servants, and live like a king for the rest of his life.
Even if King Balak gave me his palace filled with silver and gold, I could not do anything great or small to go beyond the command of the Lord my God. But stay here another night, and let me see if the Lord will tell me anything else.
Do you hear what just happened? Balaam gave the right answer, but then he asked God again, hoping for a different response. Have you ever done that? Asked your parents the same question over and over, hoping they'd change their minds? God had already given Balaam a clear answer. But because Balaam's heart was focused on the treasure instead of obedience, God was about to teach him a lesson he would never forget.
Since these men have come to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you to do.
Now this might sound like God changed his mind, but he didn't. Sometimes when we keep insisting on our own way, God allows us to learn the hard way that his first answer was best. Balaam was about to discover that getting what you want isn't always a blessing. So Balaam set out with the Moabite officials, riding on his donkey. This wasn't just any donkey. She had served Balaam faithfully for years, carrying him safely on all his journeys. She had never been stubborn or disobedient.
Good girl, after this job, I'll buy you the finest grain and the softest stable. We're both going to live like royalty.
But God was angry that Balaam was going. Not because God had given him permission, but because he could see Balaam's heart. Balaam wasn't planning to obey God's command to only speak what God told him to speak. Instead, Balaam was already planning how to get around God's restrictions so he could curse Israel and claim his reward. So God sent an angel to block the path. This wasn't a gentle, comforting angel like the ones who announced Jesus' birth. This was a warrior angel with a flaming sword, standing ready to protect God's people from anyone who would try to harm them. Now here's what's amazing. The donkey could see the angel, but Balaam couldn't. Sometimes God opens the eyes of the humble before he opens the eyes of the proud. The donkey understood immediately that they were in terrible danger.
That angel will destroy us if we go forward. I must protect my master, even if he doesn't understand.
What are you doing, you stupid animal? The road is this way.
Can you imagine? Balaam's donkey was trying to save his life, and he was angry at her for it. Sometimes when God is protecting us, it doesn't feel like protection at first. The angel moved ahead to an even narrower place between two walls, where there was no room to turn left or right. The donkey could still see the angel with his sword drawn, but Balaam remained completely blind to the danger. The poor donkey was caught between the angel's sword and her master's anger. She did the only thing she could do. She pressed against the wall to get as far from the angel as possible.
Ow, you worthless creature! Are you trying to cripple me?
3 times now, this faithful donkey had tried to save Balaam's life. 3 times Balaam had responded with violence instead of asking why his trusted animal was acting so strangely. When we're focused on our own plans, we often miss God's protection.
That's it. I've had enough of your stubbornness.
Here was a man so blinded by greed that he was beating the very creature trying to save his life. The Moabite officials watched in embarrassment as this famous diviner lost his temper with his donkey.
Balaam, what have I done to you, that you have beaten me these 3 times?
And there it was, the miracle that changed everything. God opened the donkey's mouth and gave her a human voice. But notice what she said. She didn't complain about the pain. She simply asked an honest question.
You have made me look like a fool. If I had a sword, I would kill you right now.
Am I not your donkey, which you have ridden all your life until this day? Have I ever done anything like this to you before?
What a beautiful question. This faithful donkey was asking Balaam to remember their history together. She had carried him safely for years, through storms and dangers, never once refusing to obey. Didn't she deserve the benefit of the doubt?
Quietly. No, you have always been faithful to me.
Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn.
Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If she had not turned away, I would certainly have killed you.
Forgive me, Lord, I have sinned.
Can you believe it? God was ready to destroy the famous diviner, but he would have saved the humble donkey. God values a faithful heart more than fame or fortune. Finally, Balaam was ready to put God's will above his own desire for wealth, but God wasn't finished teaching him yet.
Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you to speak.
My faithful friend, you saved my life 3 times today, and I repaid you with beatings. Can you forgive me?
The donkey didn't speak again. The miracle was over. But Balaam would never forget the lesson. God had used the most humble creature to teach the proud diviner about faithfulness, protection, and seeing beyond our own desires. The rest of Balaam's journey was very different. Instead of dreaming about gold and silver, he was thinking about God's amazing love. The Lord had sent an angel to save him from making a terrible mistake. Instead of destroying him, God had taught him through a donkey.
You have more wisdom than I do, my friend. You saw what I could not see. You protected me when I deserved punishment.
When they finally reached King Balak, something amazing happened. Instead of cursing Israel for money, Balaam blessed them 4 different times. Every time the king demanded curses, Balaam spoke blessings instead.
How can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? I must speak only what the Lord puts in my mouth.
King Balak was furious and sent Balaam away without any payment. But Balaam had learned something worth more than all the treasure in Moab. When God protects his people, nothing can stand against them.
We may not be rich in gold, but we're rich in God's mercy. He could have destroyed us, but instead, he saved us and taught us to see with his eyes.
From that day on, whenever people told the story of Balaam, they remembered not just the talking donkey, but the amazing truth that God speaks through unexpected ways. He used a humble donkey to teach a proud man. He used a faithful animal to show unfaithful humans what true obedience looks like. So what does this ancient story mean for your family today? Just like Balaam, we sometimes become so focused on what we want that we can't see how God is protecting us. When your parents say no to something you really want, maybe they can see dangers that you cannot see. Just like Balaam's donkey could see the angel, parents often see problems that children don't notice yet. When friends pressure you to do something wrong, and that little voice inside says, "Don't do it," that might be God protecting you just like he protected Balaam. Sometimes saying no to the wrong thing is saying yes to God's better plan. And here's something wonderful. God cares about animals too. He gave the donkey a voice to save Balaam's life. When we're kind to animals, we're showing the same gentle heart that God has for all his creatures. God still speaks to families today, not usually through talking animals, but through his word, through prayer, through wise parents, and sometimes through that quiet feeling in your heart when you know what's right. Just like He protected Israel through Balaam's donkey, God is protecting your family in more ways than you know. Before we finish, let's think together about some questions your family can discuss this week. First, can you think of a time when someone tried to protect you, but you didn't understand it at first? How did you feel when you realized they were helping you? Second, God used a donkey to teach Balaam about faithfulness. What can your pets or the animals around you teach your family about God's creation? And finally, Balaam learned to speak only what God wanted him to speak. How can your family's words be a blessing to others this week instead of hurtful? Here's your memory verse for this week, from Numbers chapter 23, verse 19. God is not human, that He should lie, not a human being, that He should change His mind. Does He speak and then not act? Does He promise and not fulfill? Let's pray together. Dear God, thank You for protecting us in ways we don't even see. Help us to trust Your love, even when we don't understand Your plan. Give us faithful hearts like Balaam's donkey, and help our words to be blessings to others. Amen. Remember, God sees everything, speaks through unexpected ways, and His love for His people never fails. Just like He protected Israel long ago, He's protecting your family today. Thanks for watching. If the story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe for more biblical adventures. Stay blessed and see you in the next story.